is up, viewers? Patrick from Bob vs. Only, back in Viz, episode number 5 of Destiny Weekend Bob verses of the day. And today's verse comes out of Isaiah 55, verse 11, and it reads, "So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire, and achieve the purpose for which I sent it." And that's what that verse means. And let's get into it. So we're going to start in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 29 through 31. And here is what it says. "But if from there you seek the Lord your God, you will find him if you seek him with all your heart and with all your soul. When you are in distress and all these things have happened to you, then in later days you will return to the Lord your God and obey him. For the Lord your God is a merciful God. He will not abandon or destroy you or forget the covenant with your ancestors, which he confirmed to them by oath." So now we're going to go to Acts. Acts chapter 18. Chapter 8, verse 1 to 24 and 25. Here's what it says. "After this, Paul left Athens and went to Corinth. There he met a Jew named Aquila, a native of Pontus, who had recently come from Italy with his wife Priscilla, because Claudius had ordered all Jews to leave Rome. Paul went to see them." Skipping all the way to verse 24 and 25. It says, "Meanwhile, a Jew named Apollos, a native of Alexandria, came to Ephesus. He was a learned man with a thorough knowledge of the Scriptures. He had been instructed in the way of the Lord, and he spoke with great fervor and taught about Jesus accurately though he knew only the baptism of John." Alright, so now we're going to go to Romans. Romans chapter 1, verse 16 says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes, first to the Jew, then to the Gentile." Now we're going to stay in Romans, and we're going to go to chapter 2, verses 17 through 22, which says, "Now you, if you call yourself a Jew, if you rely on the law and boast in God, if you know his will and approve of what is superior because you are instructed by the law, if you are convinced that you are a guide for the blind, a light for those who are in the dark, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of little children, because you have in the knowledge the embodiment of knowledge and truth, you then who teach others, do you not teach yourself? You who preach against stealing, do you steal? You who say that people should not commit adultery, do you commit adultery? You who abhor idols, do you rob temples?" Okay, staying in Romans, now we're going to go to chapter 11, verses 28 and 29. And here's what it says. "As far as the gospel is concerned, they are enemies for your sake. But as far as election is concerned, they are loved on account of the patriarchs. For God's gift and his call are irrevocable." And finally, Romans 15, verses 1 and 2, and 6 and 7. Here's what it says. "We who are strong ought to bear with the failings of the weak, and not to please ourselves. Each of us should please our neighbors for their good, to build them up." Skipping now to verse 6 and 7, which says, "So that with one mind and one voice you may glorify the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. Accept one another then, just as Christ accepted you, in order to bring praise to God. And that's all for the verse portion. And the verse to leave today is in Galatians 6 verse 9, which says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." And that's going to do for the video. Thanks for watching. And so next time, again, viewers, in every way, God's way is always the best way.